Hey everyone, Zach here from Pro Sax Tips. I just want to say thank you ever so much to all of you out there that have subscribed. I'm over 100 subscribers in under 2 months, and to me that is wonderful. I feel very honored for all of you out there that have decided to subscribe to my channel. That is so awesome. Thank you ever so much. I feel, like I said, so honored that all of you out there decided to hit the subscribe button. I have some videos coming up in the next couple months. I have interview series coming up. The first interview is already set for February 13th, and it'll take some time to get that all edited and up, but just letting you know that the first one is scheduled, and it is with the saxophone professor at University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, Nikki Roman, and we're just going to be having a great time talking about the saxophone and literature and techniques and teaching and other things that we're going to cover. I'm so excited to see how it turns out. So once again, thank you ever so much for subscribing. If this is your first time seeing my videos, please check out my other videos, and if you feel that it's beneficial to you, please hit the subscribe button and also the alert button, the bell, to let you know when my next videos come out. So thank you ever so much to everyone. Much appreciated, and here's my next video. Thanks a lot. Hey everyone, Zach here from Pro Sax Tips. Hope everyone's doing great. I'm feeling a little tired today. Just did 3 nights in a row of playing in a musical pit, and the musical was Urinetown, and it was a high school production, and these are jobs you can get as a professional. You get hired, and if they like your performances, and you get rehired, which is what actually is going to happen. They want me to come back and play again in May for their production of Billy Elliot. In today's video, one of the aspects of it is I'm going to show you what I bring with me when I go and do these gigs. So I put everything in a backpack, and some of the stuff that I have in here, I have 2 types of pencils. I have the mechanical pencil, which has the lead in it that you can replace, which is great. Just make sure you have enough in there. And then also a old school pencil, which is the one that you have to sharpen to get to use. And I like these because they are a little bit bigger tip on it, and if you buy the really good ones, like this one's a Ticonderoga number 2 soft, which is what the books ask you to do to use if you're going to mark in these books. And I'll show you the book in a second. But let's go through what else I have in here. Also extra reeds. Make sure you always have extra reeds with you, because you never know when a reed's going to fail on you, and you need to replace those as quickly as possible. So make sure you have those available as soon as you're starting to feel like the reed's going to die on you. So as soon as you have a chance to change the reed, make sure you go and do that. And cork grease, extra cork grease, just in case for whatever reason you forget to do that before you take off for the gig. But make sure you have cork grease on your cork if you haven't done it in a while. So make sure you do that when you're prepping your horns before you go out and gig. But take it with you just in case, because sometimes you have someone next to you that's like, oh shoot, I forgot my cork grease, and they're having issues or whatever. You save the day for them. So make sure you have that with you. Next thing, very important, keep yourself hydrated. It gets hot in those pits, especially if you're sitting really close with everybody and you have a large audience, and then you got all that energy up on stage. If you don't have enough hydration, your mouth gets all dry, and it's really hard to perform, because your reeds are starting to get dried out and your saliva level is getting low. So make sure you keep hydrated, especially before you get there. Make sure you have at least 1 full container of water, and just keep yourself hydrated. It's just a good thing to do. All right, in the main section, I got my neck strap. This is the Jazz Lab one. I really like this one for playing soprano. It just, for me, my thumb gets really sore after playing the soprano if I don't use a neck strap. So, and I like this one. It just feels really comfortable for me, my own personal preference. So if you have a different preference, great. Just something that works for you. And for me, it's the Jazz Lab. They don't give me any money for talking about them. It's just the one that I really enjoy using. And since I also play bari sax on some stuff, I really like the feel on the shoulders instead of on the neck. So that's the Jazz Lab, and that's one I like to use. Next thing, very important, especially when you're playing multiple saxophones, which is, I was playing alto and soprano on this one, is to make sure, whoops, pick that up in a second, is a sax stand. Now I only needed one stand for my alto, so I didn't bring the tenor part on this gig. And I put that one, here, I'll turn it around. So I have the alto on here. And if I was playing flute, then I would have the flute peg on there. And then I also have the soprano peg. I'm not going to put it all together, but basically that's it. So the soprano sits over here, alto's going to be here, and I leave this space open here. If I had the tenor part, if I was going to play tenor, then I would make sure that I have the tenor stand there. And if I was playing flute, then I would have the flute. So those are those. Let's put those right back in there. So next time I have a gig, it's all ready to go. And it's nice that this one kind of folds up, just like so. It fits really nice inside my backpack. And then most importantly, make sure you have the book that you're reading out of. You don't have that, you are done. There's nothing you can do if you forget this. So always double check, make sure you have your book with you that they loan to you. And this is a loan to the place that you're performing. The school doesn't own these books. They're rented, and this one's rented from MTI, Music Theater International. And it says right here, notice, do not deface. Should you find it necessary to mark cues or cuts, use a soft black lead pencil only, which is why I use that non-mechanical pencil, because it's a soft number 2 and has a little bit bigger lead tip on it, or graphite is what it really is now, and it's easy to erase. So have a really good top-notch pencil. Don't go and buy the cheapy like Target brand or Walmart brand, wherever you go. Get a really good one, a good company that has a good eraser on it. Some of those erasers are horrible. You start erasing, it makes it worse than before you erased it. So make sure you have one that erases really well. Because this book continues on, not for sale. This book is rented. So like I said, the schools rent these out for the period specified. And it says property of Music Theater International, and their address and whatever other information that they put on there. So and I did go through this, and I did mark it, because when you practice and you make a mistake, key signature wise, you forget, oh wait, there's a C sharp in here, which is, usually that's an easy one to remember. But what if you had a B sharp in there? You're not used to seeing B sharp, so and a lot of that stuff. So make sure, unless you're doing a lot of theater stuff, so make sure if you are practicing it and you make a mistake more than once, you mark it as a sharp, flat, natural, whatever it needs to be. So just, and then go back, after the gig, which is what I'm doing today after this video. I'm going to go back and I'm going to go through every page and make sure all my pencil marks are erased. There's parts where I've written, remind myself I'm still in cut time. or if there's directions where we're taking measures out, or we're skipping a part, or we're repeating a section more than what's indicated in the book. So make sure all those things that you have indicated inside your book that you're reading out of are erased, because if you don't do that, then the school has to do it, which spends, it's their time, and they already paid you, so part of that payment is to make sure you go through the book after you're done and erase all those marks that you put in there. Otherwise, if they send it off and the company gets the book back, and then they send it out to another school or whoever needs to rent it, and they call MT, or like I said, this one's from MTI, and they say, hey, this book's all marked up, what's going on? And then the school gets charged for it that previously rented it. So make sure that you take care of business, and that's just being part of being a professional. Don't make them pay for things that you're supposed to take care of. So just make sure you do that. Another thing I like to grab is the program from which I did the performance. One thing is just to keep like a keepsake of all the things that you've done, and also it's kind of cool to look back and go, oh yeah, this was I was in here, and look, here's my name, and blah blah blah. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, my name wasn't put in here, and neither was the other trombonist that was hired, because we were hired after they had taken care of all this stuff. They were just going to have high schoolers perform in the pit, and I guess after practicing with them, they found out that music was too high of a level for most of them, and they needed me and the trombonists, who are professional pit players, to come in and to supplement, to help elevate the level of the music for the pit, for the musical. So no big deal, but it's still cool to have this as a keepsake, and so I just collect these and just have like a little keepsake box. So there's that. One of the most important things to have, especially as a saxophonist, or any instrument that has pads on it, is to have $1. And the reason is, what happens if you have a pad that's sticking? Yeah, they have all these things out there that you can put on your pads to stop them from sticking or whatnot. But for me, all I do is right before I head out for the performance is to go and put this through, and I'll do a demonstration. Let me pull my horn out. So I just take the $1, and I'm going to use the G sharp, because we all know that G sharp loves to stick no matter what. So I just open it up, put the $1 in there, put a little bit of pressure on the G sharp key, and I just wiggle it back and forth. And then I do it again, wiggle it back and forth, and one more time, 3 times the charm, and then I don't have to worry about it sticking for that performance. And I just go through every single one, starting up here, and just work myself back all the way down, so on and so forth. 99.9% of the time, it hasn't stuck. So there's always going to be that slight chance, but there's nothing you can do about it. Just move on. But 99.9% of the time, it doesn't stick. $1 is almost invaluable. So you can get it if you're not in America, or if you don't have an American dollar. I don't know, maybe your currency is kind of the same. I'm not sure. See if it works for that as well. So that's another thing I do. So make sure you have that with you at all times. All right, so to recap, make sure you have pencils, make sure you have extra reeds, make sure you have that $1, make sure your pads aren't sticking, and have it with you while you're performing. So in case you notice that something's starting to stick, that you can pull it out again really quickly and run it through underneath that pad real quick, and then you should be fine. Make sure you have water, keep yourself hydrated, and have fun. So thank you ever so much, everyone, and have a great week.